Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel Let's Slice Data with Saurabh. So till now we have learned a lot of things and recently I took one interview and I asked a very simple question like what is the difference between the Scrum, Kanban and Safe? See, everybody is using them for a scaled agile as a scaled agile, basically agile framework. Safe is a scaled agile framework, but most of the people are not able to understand that okay, what is the difference between Scrum, Kanban and Safe? They are saying that okay, everything is looking same and we are doing the same kind of work in the all these ways. Yes, we are doing the same kind of work, but there is some basic difference between these three, which we need to understand that, okay, what are they? So in today's lecture, I'm going to cover the difference between Scrum, Kanban, and Safe, which will definitely going to help you in your interviews, or you have to understand like when to use what, when we have to use Scrum, when we have to use Kanban, and when we have to use scaled agile methods that is Safe, basically. So, and before jumping onto the topic, the difference I want to understand, I want you people to understand these couple of definitions. So one is like WIP limits, and the second is PI planning. So PI planning is program increment, that is PI, and the first one is like WIP, that is work in progress. So you have to understand that, okay, what is the role of these two when you talk about Safe, Scrum, and Kanban? So when I say WIP limits, these are the constraint on the number of tasks that can be in a particular stage of your workflow at any given time. In a Kanban board with column like to do, in progress, review and done, a work in progress limit for the in progress column might be set at say 3 items, means that the team cannot start working on the fourth item until the one of the 3 item in progress moves to the next stage, example review. So let's say I have to work on 4 items and that is dependent upon the previous 3 items. So until unless one is completed, you cannot move on to the second one. So that is called limit, WIP limit. So first we have to complete this particular item and then only I can move it to the next one. So why I'm telling you these definitions, you will come to know later, but this WIP limit is very important, which you have to understand. And the second is PI planning. So PI planning is a core element of scaled agile framework. It's a recurring event typically held in every 8 to 12 weeks where agile teams, stakeholders, and product owners collaborate to align on a shared vision plan for the upcoming program increment. It involves reviewing the program backlog, setting objectives, identifying dependencies, and creating a plan for sprints across teams. Because what is Safe is a scrum of scrums, you can say. The scaled agile framework is basically take like 8 to 12 weeks. When I say PI, that is program increment. So you have to understand when I talk about this WIP limits and program increments. Again, I'm reiterating WIP limits is nothing but dependency. Basically, first you have to complete the first task, then only you can move it to the next one. So that is called WIP limit. And PI planning is nothing but the program increment, which is basically for the Safe, so scaled agile framework. Okay, so what are we trying to do? We are trying to create something, right? And we can use 3 techniques to do that. And when to use what? So if I go to the next slide, this will tell you basically when to use what and what is the basic difference between these three. If you understand this slide, you will be able to answer the questions from the interviewer that basically what is the difference. The first is the structure. When you talk about Scrum, Kanban, and Safe, so structure of Scrum is a time boxed, that is sprint. And sprint is a small run. I hope you all know that from where this Scrum word came and sprints came. I've already created one video on that. You can go and watch that. So Scrum means it is iterative. It is a time box and fixed length of 1 to 4 weeks. But generally we are doing it for 2 weeks. In most of the cases, you can see that the Scrum is only of the 2 weeks. Then what are the roles into that? The roles are like product owner, Scrum master, and the team. Team means developers. Only 3 roles are there. So you will, if you will do PSM1 or any other certification, you will definitely get a one question on the roles, that project manager is the part of that or not. So project manager is not the part of the Scrum. So product owner, Scrum master, and team. team means developers. WIP limit, implicit within a sprint. So you cannot say that, okay, but it will go beyond the sprint. So basically implicit within a sprint, WIP limit, I already told you, dependency, one task on the another task. Planning, basically a sprint planning. That, okay, what we are going to deliver in that particular sprint. A sprint, I told you, basically it is only of 2 weeks. Change, discouraged within a sprint when we talk about Scrum. So when you say that, okay, I want to change something within a sprint, we can take it, but it's very irrational to take within a 2 weeks of time, right? When you're working in a sprint, it is mostly a 2 weeks time and you want to change something there. Okay, and scale, what is the scale of Scrum? It is primarily for the single team. So guys, you have to understand when you talk about only about the single team, then you can go for Scrum. Multiple team, you can go for Kanban. Large or complex organization, you can go for SAFe. Focus, delivering a potentially shippable increment each sprint. So because in every sprint, you have to show some increment in the product that, okay, we have developed this particular thing. So that is the focus of the Scrum. When we come to the Kanban, it is a bit different from them. It is like a support kind of project, basically a flow-based, a continuous project. Then you can use the Kanban, Jira kind of tools. Iterations, none. Means it is not fixed that, okay, 1 to 4 weeks or something like that. It is a continuous process. Then the roles, flexible, often uses existing roles. Whatever the roles are there, they can use that. Explicit and actively managed. So this is very important because, you know, one task is another, one task. Until you finish the one task, you cannot go to the next task. You have to put that task into a finished or a review stage, then only you can start working on the another one. So that is there, actively managed. Planning is a Kanban board prioritization. So it's a board and you have to prioritize the things there. And then the change, it is flexible, can adapt at any time because it's a continuous flow, right? Because there is no sprint, there is no limitations of 1 to 4 weeks. So whatever the flex, it is flexible to take any kind of changes in Kanban. And scale can scale up to multiple teams, I've told you. So when a single team, when you talk about, it is only for Scrums. When you talk about multiple teams, it is for Kanban. And the focus is continuous flow and improving efficiency. Continuous flow means we are supporting a project, right? I will tell you the examples of Kanban, what we are going to do there. In SAFe is a scrum of scrums. For the large and complex organization, we are doing SAFe. It's a hierarchical thing. There is a hierarchy, basically, iterative and multiple level. Program increments typically 8 to 12 weeks. So like in a sprint or Scrum, you will see 1 to 4 weeks and maximum we are doing it for 2 weeks. Here we have to think about 8 to 12 weeks, basically a quarter. So how many? 8 weeks means like 2 months, 12 weeks like 3 months. So basically a quarter we are planning in the SAFe. Defined at team, program and portfolio levels that, okay, what are the roles and everything. WIP limits are managed at different levels because it is talking about the large organization. Planning is PI planning and sprint planning. PI planning I have already told you. That is what is PI. There is program increment, which I have already explained in the last slide. And then designed for large and complex organization. So this is for SAFe. And focus is on alignment, collaboration, and delivering at large scale because I'm talking about Scrum of Scrums. So let's say there are several teams working together and then you are coming there that, okay, we'll do SAFe on that. And then we will do accordingly. So it is for the large and complex organization. And it is typically like 8 to 12 weeks program increment thing. So these are the three basic difference. If anyone asks you that what is the difference between Scrum, Kanban, and SAFe, you can say Scrum within a sprint, limited iterations, roles are defined. A sprint planning we can do, discouraged within a sprint. We cannot take so many changes, primarily for the single team. When it comes to Kanban, can scale up to multiple teams. It is a continuous flow. So there is no iteration and something like support kind of projects you can use there. And then the SAFe will come as for the large and complex organization. It is Scrum of Scrums, program and increment typically 8 to 12 weeks. It's a hierarchical structure. There is some hierarchy as well. And then it is designed for the large and complex organization. So these are the few basic difference between Scrum, Kanban, and SAFe, which definitely they are going to ask you in an interview. I will cover all these three in a very quick manner. that what is Scrum, what is Kanban, and what is SAFe. And I will focus on the use cases. So, okay, when we talk about Scrum, so Scrum is nothing but a structured framework for managing product development within a single team, as I told you. Fixed iteration length like 1 to 4 weeks. Defined roles, product owner, Scrum master, and development team. See, I'm not going to cover everything here. Sprint planning, daily Scrum, sprint review, and sprint retrospective. Everybody knows that everybody is working in the sprints every time. So this is there. But the use cases of Scrums, projects with well-defined goals, but potentially evolving requirement. So you have to develop something in a sprint and you have to deliver that. Team that benefited from structured and time-boxed approach. So let's say I told you like 2 weeks sprint is there. So you have to use Scrum there. Situations for frequent feedback and adaptations are valuable. So basically frequent feedback you will connect with the client for the sprint review, retro, so that you can continuously make improvement on that. And you have to measure the velocity, that how many story points you have delivered in a particular sprint, and then the next sprint what you are going to do. So you have to gradually increase, and then there is a stagnant line because you cannot go beyond particular that. So you have to take a look into that in the velocity. When you talk about the Kanban, I have already told you it's a visual board basically, constrained on the number of tasks of each workflow stage to improve focus and reduce bottlenecks. So WIP progress, I told you, like when you have to complete one task and then only you can take the another task. It's a continuous flow. Kanban doesn't prescribe any specific role. So these are the few difference between the Scrum and Kanban, which you have to understand. Then best use cases like ongoing process with a continuous stream of like support and maintenance. So let's say you are supporting some team or maintenance, then you can use Kanban. Situations where priorities can change frequently because there is no timeline, right? Teams that wants to improve their workflow efficiency to reduce bottlenecks can be used to lightweight overlay existing methodologies, Scrum often called Scrum ban. So sometimes it's called Scrum ban as well. So don't get into that, but you have to understand that, okay, it can be applied to a multiple teams. It can be used when you are talking about the support and maintenance project. So then you can use this Kanban. And this kind of board will be there. This is a Jira board I have told you, to do, in progress, in review, and done. So this is the Kanban board you can see. So board kind of structure will be there. And then we come to the SAFe, that is Scaled Agile Framework. So SAFe is a framework for scaling agile practices to large and complex organizations. So I told you, Scrum is for a smaller team. Kanban can be go to the multiple teams. But when we talk about SAFe, so it is for the large and complex organizations. What are the key elements of the SAFe? Hierarchy of the teams and programs, organized, released. These are called agile release trains that deliver value incrementally. So value you have to deliver basically, right? And it is of 8 to 12 weeks, which I've already told you. Roles are like RTE, product management, and system architect based on the requirement. Emphasize on alignment and collaboration. And then framework is like SAFe, large solution, this and that. See, don't get into all these things, but you have to understand that when we talk about SAFe, we are talking about the large and complex organizations. Time frame will be 8 to 12 weeks. Program increment is PI. And then best use cases for SAFe, like large organization with multiple agile teams working on interconnected products or system. Complex project that require coordination across many teams, then you can use SAFe. Or organizations that need to structured approach to scaling agile while maintaining alignment business strategy, then you can use SAFe. So whatever we have covered in the first slide, that is the main important part, guys. Like what is the structure, what is the iteration, what is the roles, WIP limits, planning, change, scale, and focus. This is primarily for the single team. It can be go to the multiple teams. It is designed for the large and complex organizations. It is fixed iteration. There is no iteration, and there is 8 to 12 weeks. So all these things, there are defined roles. These are flexible, defined at team, program, portfolio level. So these things are a bit important, and they are going to ask you this in almost all the interviews, that what is the difference between Scrum, Kanban, and SAFe. So you can answer this. I hope you have seen this video till here. Keep watching and share it with your friends if they like, and if it is adding some value to your, because I have asked this question and people are not able to answer it. So I thought that, okay, let's make a video, small video on that, so that you can get it. You can read about it. Go to the Gemini, go to the Copilot. There are so many things. Just type that, okay, what is the difference between Scrum and Kanban, and save. You will get all these things there. Okay. So I think this is going to help you in a way. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. Thank you.